All right, LukaNation. Got a little Sunday edition episode, Father's Day segment, which is kind of cool. You know, we've been doing this for 10 months. We haven't had a Father's Day one yet, so this is cool. And you know, I really don't have any words of wisdom. I was really fortunate. I had a great father, two amazing grandparents. So I just realized the older I get how lucky I was to have such good male influences in my life. Cage, your father's to you. I see how your kids look at you. They admire you. You're like their hero. What words of advice do you have for, if any, or what words at all do you have for our community on a day like today?
Oof! Wow, we're starting off heavy, man. We're starting off heavy. I'm sunburned.
It's Father's
over
Day,
here,
Cage.
so I'm starting off heavy. So I guess what I would say is, I say thank you to everybody out there. That's really what I'm going to say, right? And I guess I should say it more, especially to you, Captain. You know, we have this podcast. It's the greatest thing in the world. It really is. I get messages all the time. I got one this morning from somebody, you know, saying how, you know, they did cards with their dad, and their dad, you know, passed away from cancer last month, and you know they love listening, you know, to us. And, you know, me talk about how I'm breaking wax with Ian and, you know, keeping the father-son kind of card tradition going. And, you know, I get messages like that all the time. And really that's where I started doing the cards. And that's what I was doing with the cards. It was, let's, you know, open packs, open cards. It was a father-son thing to do. It's something I'm doing with my son and my daughter. I'm trying to get her into cards. She doesn't really like them as much, but yeah, I mean, listen, it's a cool day. It's a day to, you know, to thank all the dads for everything they do, for you to, you know, enjoy time with your dad. My dad passed away when he was 55 years old. So, you know, I wish I could have one extra Father's Day back to hang out with him. And, you know, so, you know, keep that in mind as you spend another day, you know, with your dad. And, you know, that's it. Thank you, guys.
What an amazing, amazing game we had yesterday with the Brooklyn Nets Milwaukee Bucks game. Cage is going to share his takeaways, but I think you know, before we did a playoff preview here, or before we did a second round preview, I talked a lot about how Giannis was the player who had the most to gain from that playoff series. I stand by that. I really, you know, history repeats itself, but at the same time, I think there's going to be nuances and differences. When I'm watching Giannis, this title that I think that the Bucks are going to win reminds me a lot of Jordan's title. I know way different players, but if you guys remember, Jordan came in the league. He was a raw talent. He was amazing. He was way better than Giannis was, but he had to work his way up to getting a title. And I see something similar here with Giannis at 26 years old, that if he's able to get a title here, Cage.
Yep.
I know he's not a Batman in a lot of people's eyes, and I think we could talk about what a Batman truly is, Batman and Robin, but I think there's no stopping the Bucks. And I think the Sixers, yeah, I don't think the Sixers match up really well.
I think the Hawks win tonight, and the Bucks don't have anybody who can stop Trae. I think
Trae Young?
I would not be crowning Giannis anywhere near Michael Jordan. I would not be crowning them. Let's give him credit. He made it to the finals.
I didn't say that Giannis is Michael Jordan. His track record of how he's worked his way up to where he is now reminds me a little bit of Jordan. That's what I mean.
It's the first time they made the conference finals. We got to give him some credit. That's great stuff. They've never done it before. He's made the conference finals, and that's, you know, it is showing progression in their game. What I would like to say, just before we get into who's the next greatest and who's going to win in the whole deal, is I've gotten a lot of messages about people being bored with basketball, right? People bored with basketball. And even Conrad, and maybe it's more basketball cards, even Conrad Uncaged, the last episode that we did, you know, he and I, we talked about the dip, and you know, he was actually talking about looking forward to football because basketball got a little boring. You and I talked yesterday's episode about basketball being, you know, where the superstars are out. You know, we've had some basketball, you know, a lot of basketball, like basically like no break with the bubble and this and that, you name it. But I mean, if you were bored by last night's game, you should just get another hobby, you know, buy cigars, do some bourbon, you know, whatever the, you know, I mean, you know, buy fancy sriracha sauces, find some other hipster thing to do today. But that is, I mean, it gets game 7, you know, 1 second left, game tying shot, you know, go to overtime, you know, chance to tie at the end, chance to win at the, I mean, like, you know, if that doesn't get your pulse racing, if that doesn't get you excited about the game, We talked about it before that series, right? We talked about it and we said that was going to be the finals. Like that was the matchup that everybody wanted to see, and it did not disappoint. And if you weren't excited about that game, watching it going back and forth with anybody's game, you got some. Maybe you're not a basketball fan, I guess, but before I do that, I'll drop it. You're right. Give Giannis some credit. Put some respect on the guy. He's got his warts. We could talk about his warts. I mean, 2 air ball free throws, some interesting plays down the stretch. But, yeah, I mean, 40 points, put the team on your back.
He had 30 points or more in every single game after they went down 0-2.
Yeah, I mean,
30-plus points, 10-plus rebounds.
Give him some credit. Durant, just as great. I mean, didn't come up at the end. Didn't have his legs, played 52 or 53 minutes or whatever it came down to, and, tried a crazy turnaround 3 that just came up short at the end of the game. And, I'm not a huge Durant guy. If his prices don't go up after this performance, I'll probably be buying into some Durant because I don't own Durant. But, again, this was a series where someone has to lose. But the names on those teams, should be getting some more credibility, some more pricing increases. That justifies. Look, everybody priced in a championship for Durant. He's clearly not getting that. He didn't even make it to the conference finals. Part of that is his team wasn't really healthy. You can talk about the ancillary players. Chris Middleton's boring, even though he was the one who got all the shots down the stretch. But he's boring. No one's going to invest in him. James Harden. You know what I mean? Like, if he could have stepped up a little bit more. I mean, that was a crazy bank 3-pointer. Lucky. I don't think he called bank, but. That
was wild. I mean, there's a few topics there. One, I think it was cool the refs let them play.
Yeah.
Remember we talked about that yesterday?
Yep.
The refs let them play. They called fouls when they were necessary, but that was one of the most physical games I've seen in a long time. Yep. It reminded me of the 90s basketball. I was watching my buddy, and he was like, they're falling all over the place.
Well, because they're used to the flops. They're used to the Neymar refereeing. They're used to PJ Tucker, whatever his name is, wants to flop and he'll get a foul call, but the refs will let him go. So, I
For
like
sure.
that.
And they didn't call an offensive foul. They didn't call defense. They just let them play. I love that. I agree. Chris Middleton's game isn't. Chris Middleton came through when they needed him. It reminded, and this is again
he always
not the
does.
best comparison.
I mean, he's the one who's taking those last second shots almost every game.
Remember Dwayne Wade, Shaq? What was that? Can we compare Giannis, Middleton to Dwayne Wade and Shaq? Is that a fair comparison or not so much?
I mean, yeah. Shaq was sort of, tail end of his career-ish.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So you don't really have that with Middleton and Giannis because they've basically both been playing for the same amount of time. But, yeah, I mean, personality-wise, no. I don't see it personality-wise. I mean, they're both in the way that they could both be like 1A, 1B instead of a 1-2. If that's why you're picking those guys, then yeah, I think that's a good comparison.
So I grew up in sales, and in sales you learn about like objection handling. And the only objection that people have against Giannis is that he's not a true alpha only because he can't shoot and he can't have the ball in his hands the last few minutes. So
those are two pretty big things.
They're huge things, but I'm trying to kind of find a similar comparison in the past, right? When we see something new, we try to kind of frame it with something we've seen in the past, because even though that is true, Cage, that shouldn't discredit someone's legacy, right? That shouldn't say that he can't be a top 10 or top 5 player of all time just because he doesn't have a good foul throw shooting or he can't hit the last second shot. In your opinion, does it completely disqualify him from a top 10?
Tell me the top 5 players in the history of the game.
I mean, to be fair,
all of them.
Tim Duncan was a much better shooter, but I don't think anyone would give Tim Duncan the ball for the last shot. And he wasn't a great free throw shooter either.
No, I'm sure I would give him the ball in the post and let him bank it off the glass. He basically was 90% that he was going to hit it there. I mean,
that's
that's 100%. But I mean, and Duncan's borderline top 10. I mean, let's.
No. Duncan's top 5. Duncan's top 5. On mine.
All right.
It's not even close to it.
I mean, I think probably Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, LeBron James, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Will Chamberlain might have something to say about Tim Duncan cracking into that top 5. But everybody's entitled to their own, top 5, and you can generations and the whole deal, right? I put him in top 10, but point being, I don't want to start sucking off Giannis just yet here. Am I allowed to say that in the PG-13 thing? The dude made his first conference finals appearance right now. Yeah, he had a great series. He showed up when his team needed to. But there's a laundry list of people out there who did that for a series. I mean, look what Dame Lillard did in playoff series last year. I mean, look what I mean. That doesn't make them top 5 player of all time. Let's see who he faces, and let's see what happens going forward, and let's see who comes out of the West. You know, it's silly. Like, I saw a great meme today that's like Devin Booker's legendary. You know, he made his first Western Conference Finals. Michael Jordan never made a single Western Conference Finals. Legendary. You know, like we always want to compare. Instead of comparing, let's take a minute and say, awesome series. Great series. Delivered everything you could want it to deliver. Fantastic. Good stuff. Let's see what Giannis does now. Because that was great. He's been here. He hasn't been to this win, right? So they got beat by Toronto 2 years ago. Ultimately, they won the championship. They beat the Heat. He's now gotten to the series, right? Let him win a game. Let's see who they play against. Let him shoot some free throws. Let him put the team on his back in a conference finals and get to the finals, and let's see where we go. If I'm a Milwaukee or Giannis fan or collector, I view it already as a success, right? Put the team on his back. He could have done better in a couple of avenues, but he has now taken that team further than they have gone, right? The city looked crazy. Everybody was excited. The deer, fear the deer, and the buck stops here, whatever the poem you want to make up, right? But so great. But now you got to deliver. And if people, right, what's funny about it is whether it's Philly, Atlanta, the Suns, a hobbled Clippers team, right now, Giannis is supposed to win the whole thing. That's where we talked about expectations changing, and you're like season over season. I say they change minute over minute. If he would have lost to Durant, it would have been okay. Right? People would have been like, great series, it's great, put some respect on Giannis' name. But right now, from yesterday to today, the expectations on Giannis have changed and flipped on him. And it's great. It was a success. But I would argue that right now, Giannis is the favorite to win the whole thing. And if he doesn't, people might this week be happy with him and next week say those foul shooting issues are now big magnification, right? Let's magnify those things, put a big spotlight on those things. And that might actually hurt him.
I think that's interesting. So if we could talk about that.
Sure, let's do it.
You know how expectations change? How do I word this? So you're talking about people have priced Giannis's cards as if he's going to win? Because I don't think so.
So I think
the market has responded.
So we'll see, right? And I mean, I looked at Top Shot. That's always like the quickest one for me, like Top Shot, and they didn't move. Durant's didn't move. Giannis's didn't move. Some of them might have even gone down a little bit, right? So that's the quickest way for me to see like an immediate thing. Star stock, as well. But I think right now you're going to see Giannis's cards move up a little bit, but that may not maintain. But also, we're in a weird spot. People are not buying. Maybe it's the summertime thing you were talking about. You name it. People are not buying. Especially, I think if Giannis wins the whole thing, people will buy his card. But people haven't bought in on him yet.
So that's what I want to talk about. So while Cage was talking, guys, and this conversation, I love this because I know this is what people are thinking about today, right? A lot of what we do is like people sometimes jump down my throat for opinions. Sometimes my opinions are to hash out and have discourse about what I think is other people are thinking about. Like in class, people are like, if you have a question, a lot of other people might have that question.
Yep.
So while Cage was talking, I looked at Giannis cards. Giannis cards actually sold for $1,800 last night.
There you go. And you were talking about $1,250, $1,300. So this is exactly what I'm talking about. They go up a little, but I think they could retreat because now people are buying, expecting. He's favored. I think Vegas odds right now would say with him in, Giannis should win the title. Milwaukee should win the title.
For sure. With Chris Paul and COVID, we don't know what's happening there. Kawhi, we don't even know if he's going to play again.
Exactly.
It's going to be interesting. I think if they play the Sixers, I think they sweep the Sixers. They play the Hawks. The Hawks are a grittier team, but I think they beat the Hawks in 5 games.
I guess we'll see. But see, it's that type of thinking is the reason why Giannis's cards have gone up 50% from when you gave them as a play a couple days ago. Right? And Durant's cards might fall a little bit. I think that's an overreaction and stupid. But maybe people already priced in some sort of a title to him in the whole deal, and I get that. Not much more he could have done, let's be honest.
It's pretty cool, right? So we've had LeBron, Patrick Mahomes, Tom Brady. These guys all have won championships in like the last 12, 18 months. It's so interesting how prices react to anticipation of a championship and then the actual championship, right? Like Patrick Mahomes, cards were flying, and then after he won his Super Bowl,
Yep.
dumped. LeBron cards, same thing, but then they had a resurgence and they went 4x. Tom Brady cards just have been going through the roof consistently since his Super Bowl. I don't know what's going to happen. I think it's curious. So I'll leave it up to you, LukaNation. What do you think happens to Giannis cards, this Prism PSA 10? Let's call it a $1,750 card. Okay? What do you think happens if he wins the championship?
I don't know. I think right now the championship is almost priced in. I think there's more downside than there is upside.
Wow.
Because we just went up 50%. You were telling people to buy them at $1,250. Now they're $1,800, almost 50% increase. I think it's more likely that from the 18 that they're selling for now, that if he doesn't win a championship, they go back down to 15 or 1,400, rather than them going up. What are they going to go $2,000, 2,100?
Cage, for liquid cards, I was thinking about this. Tell me if you agree. I think there should be you know how like you're invested in Ethereum a little bit?
Yep.
And there's like 24-hour performance and 7-day performance?
Yep.
I think for base cards, we should use comps as a 7-day average. I don't think we could just pull a one comp and be like, oh, someone bought this card for $1,900, so it's a $1,900 card. This other one ended on auction for $1,150, so it's a loan. I think we need a 7-day rolling average for base cards to really assess a true comp.
Listen, it's funny about comps. We're going to have to do a deep dive into comps on cards, because one of the things I've noticed is it depends where it comes from. And I think you're right, do the 7-day average on more liquid cards. The non-liquid stuff, even some of the liquid-y higher-end stuff, what's the right way to look at it? Is it Card Ladder and their fantastic math? Is it auction houses? Is it eBay? And then what auction house? Like, people will crap on like golden auctions. They get too much money. But everyone knows about a golden auction. One of our listeners, Boston Authentic, told me about an auction yesterday, Hunt's auction that ended. I'm like, I didn't even know this thing even existed. And then when Michael Jordan autograph cards selling for like pennies on the dollar and this stuff, because I never heard of it. We'll talk about comps. I'd love to get into a chicken or the egg kind of conversation with you, right? We saw the Michael Jordan PSA 10 Fleer card sell for $180,000 in that crazy wacky PWCC flash auction last week, right? And the people who are in the hobby, people like you, me, card porn, you name it, we've seen now that eBay canceled that auction because it's been posted on Instagram, right? But other people might not know that. They might just know the comp is $180. They might know the comp is $180,000, right? So you know what happens? Last night, Iconic auctions, in a weird auction with very few sports cards, right? A lot more autographs, presidential autographs, you name it. Some sports cards, but not that many. Some sealed wax, some stuff. The lead lot number one was a Michael Jordan card. And it's
old label.
Yeah, but I mean, there's 300 and change of them. Old label, it's true. Yes, the old label sell for a little bit less. But still, $207,000. So what comes first, the chicken or the egg? Do my questions on that are many. One, did that 180 comp, which might not be a real comp, now bring down the pricing on that thing?
Right. Did it scare off some potential buyers?
Yeah, maybe. Two, is it just people didn't know Iconic was there? There was a steal to be had because people don't follow it, and maybe we should give Ken Golden and Golden Auctions a little, and maybe PWCC's like Premier Auctions and their monthly auctions a little more credit as a viable comp, because everybody actually knows about that and people are bidding in those auctions. Honestly, I don't know the answer, but I know we have to do a little more digging in what is a comp, because everybody wants. It's the world on demand, right? It's Netflix. It's like, let me play. I don't want commercials. I want it now, because we've been talking about cards as an asset class, like a stock. And when you get a stock quote, it's a stock quote. That's what the stock sells for, right? People want comps on cards.
It's a liquid market.
Yeah, people want comps on cards to be the same, but they're not exactly,
They're definitely not. I was thinking about this last night. So we'll do an episode on that. This is a great one. And maybe we'll pull some people from our community too, who are in this space like Chris Hodge would be a great guy to talk comps with. Because, they do it for Card Ladder all the time. So Gary talks a lot of the time about how everybody is a media company first. I don't know if you've heard that. Yep. I think what you're going to see with all these legacy gold auction houses is that they need to become media companies. That's why Golden does so well. And take Luka, Tiger, LeBron. I could see us, partnering, or maybe we do really well and we buy Iconic auctions one day. I see that being the combination of the future, because having an auction, you have to market and promote it.
Then I got to sell all my cards. If I'm an auction house, if I own an auction house, I can't own my own cards. I can't auction off cards. And Gotta sell, gotta liquidate.
I'll own them. I'll own the auction house and not have any cards.
The appearance of impropriety, my friend. No problems there. We get rid of it. That's fine.
I don't need to own cards. I like to help people make money, and I enjoy the space.
I'm owning my cards. I like my cards.
And you love your cards.
I do. Otherwise, why would we be doing this? So that's the fun. I know you like to help people. I like to own my cards. I got a banger last night. You got
bang last night? That's fucking sick.
I got my Michael Jordan. You know what I got.
Yes.
I got a message from Andrew, and he's like, this is yours. You better win this. And I'm like, well, how do I not win it now? How do I not just throw the most ridiculous bid in and just make sure I get it? And it was like my favorite Jordan card. Probably is my favorite Jordan card.
Why don't you just tell people what you got?
It was the 1993 Ultra Scoring Kings, Michael Jordan, with the lightning in the background. I got PSA 10. People are going to think I'm nuts, because you can get a 9 for so much less, and the 9s are just as nice in most cases. But it's just one of those cards, man, where I was like, this card, it just personifies my youth as a collector. Like, I remember opening those packs and getting that card, and even getting it in a pack, it was never perfect. It was never a 10. Like, I've opened those packs and got 3 or 4 of those Jordans myself, among other guys in that set. And it was a cool card to have. It's like this purple with the lightning strike behind it. He's kind of like shooting the balls in a little awkward pose. But even right out of packs, there was chipping on them and stuff like that. Like, you never had a mint one. So it was a cool chase.
Is Scoring Kings Fleer?
It's Ultra, yeah, Fleer Ultra. So it's
Fleer cards are the most condition sensitive cards there are.
It's a real cool card. I'm real happy.
Obviously PMG,
collection, and PMG, right? I mean, those are. It's sort of like that. It's one of those real condition sensitive cards. There's like 97 or so PSA 10s or something like that. I love those Jordan inserts, and that was a cool one for me.
Cage, there's 97, but you don't see them come up for auction very often.
No, every couple of months maybe. Every few months one pops up, and there's gonna be less because this one's going in the vault. So one less. Say goodbye, folks. This one's going in. This is going somewhere. I don't know exactly where. Maybe a Show My Slabs. Maybe I'll make like a Michael Jordan Show My Slabs collection kind of thing, and just put only Jordans in it.
I think next we go for a Jordan PMG.
Ooh, maybe.
Cool.
Why not?
Cool.
I still need my Charizard. But go ahead. What do you got for me?
Charizard PMG. Help me figure out the right way to make this play. Okay, so I'm going to go NFL on you guys.
Go.
I'm going to go someone that I'm pretty confident is going to win quite a few awards this year. I think he's going to be Offensive Player of the Year. I don't know if they give that to wide receivers, but I have a good feeling that they might. He's going to lead the league in receivings, in touchdowns. I think he's going to have a monster season.
Ooh,
Justin Jefferson.
Really?
Yeah, guys,
who's throwing
monster.
The ball?
I mean, Kirk Cousins is.
He's going to lead the league with Kirk Cousins throwing the ball.
I mean, yeah.
Okay.
Good wide receivers lead the league in yards, even if they have a bad quarterback. Like, it's not always on the quarterback, and especially if you're the number one option and you get 10 to 20 targets a game.
Yeah.
I mean, I wouldn't say Matt Ryan is the greatest quarterback of all time.
Listen, sometimes you don't have to be the best team in the world to have good receiving records. As a matter of fact,
right.
There's an argument to be made with that division and how good the teams are going to be in that division. Chicago will be on the up. Green Bay is probably going to be fine. Minnesota might be the team in the dungeon, in the cellar, as they say, of that division, throwing the ball a lot more to try to catch up. So there you go.
And Cage, remember, like,
he's awesome.
He's really awesome.
Good. He's really good.
You could throw him a slant. You could throw it deep. You could throw him right off the line. What is that? Wide receiver screen. So like he's
so
gonna
many
get
receivers
a ton
taken ahead of him last year. He's really good.
And here's my question. So there's 183 cards graded of his. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
How many do you think got a PSA 10?
Last year's Prism was terrible, man. There were so many quality control issues. The centering was bad on him and stuff like that. If I had to guess, maybe 120.
59.
Woo! Oh
right?
Goodness.
So here's my question. And guys, this is why I believe we're such a positive show for the community, because we don't just bring you plays, we think through them. So I'm here looking. His PSA 10 Prism base is $200. His raw card is $35. Help us decide what's the right play there, because I know I want to play Justin Jefferson. I want to invest. I might go silver, but his silver is going to be so expensive. I'm not going to give that for an average play. But I have his base for $35.
Wow.
I have his Prism PSA 10 base for $200. What's the right move there, knowing that it's about a 30%, 33% gem rate?
Wow. So I mean, I would expect when PSA opens back up and whatnot to see more of those Justin Jefferson base start to come out. I would probably go with the silver, but just because it's not a huge amount of difference. Honestly, yeah. You gonna throw something in there?
Yes. So I'll explain. I agree. PSA is going to open back up. People are going to be subbing these cards in end of July, August, September.
Yep.
But I'm not telling you guys to hold this all year. I'm saying sell this before the supply run.
Right.
So that's why I actually went base versus silver, because silver pop won't increase. I do believe base will increase.
Honestly,
but short term, I think
either one of them is fine. Either one of them is fine. Honestly, either one of them is fine. I would try to stack up as many of them as I can. If it's people who like, so if you're really doing a flip like game 1, game 2 type of flip, star stock, no backsies kind of thing, I think I would go with base. I think I'll go base because you have a wider audience that'll jump on that base card, in response to a 3-touchdown week 1 kind of performance, which you can easily have. And that's the way I would go. I think you have more people looking for that base. It's an easier entry point. And that's the way I would go. I like it. I'm glad you said it that way because I was actually going to say if you're a believer in him long term, I might go for like an RPA or like a contenders auto or something like that on him. And here's why, right? I look at Prism stuff, and I mean Justin Herbert and Tua and Burrow, and there's a lot of great stuff out there. I mean, if you're Prism and you love Prism, and a lot of people do, go for something numbered. Because even last year, I've noticed, I'm like, oh, look at that Prism card. Why does it look so dark? And then I noticed Prism Black. So they released last year a whole new Prism set, like a whole new release called Prism Black. And it looks exactly like the same. It looks exactly like the cards, but it's a different like release set with Prism Black on it. Like you can tell it's the Prism on the top. It's got the word black on the bottom of it. It's like a whole nother set. It's like kill the population of all these things. I mean, what is it, like a step below? Is it like the old Mosaic? I have no idea. Right? I have to research it, but I'm
it's like how Panini has 3 different 1-of-1s in the Prism set,
yeah,
like 1-of-1 Nebula.
I'm looking at this and I'm like, okay, why is this Justin Herbert so cheap? Oh, because it's not Prism, it's Prism Black. It's just they're just making so much stuff that this year's class, this coming year's class, this last year's class, if it's somebody you believe in, I mean, I'm not telling you anything genius here, guys. Obviously, stick with something numbered, stick with something a little lower pop, like a colored Prism with numbered out of 199 or 99 or whatever it is, or go auto, go RPA or go contenders auto or something like that with your spending money, because you're gonna see Zion may be the next great generational talent in basketball, but the last I checked, you could get a star stock on Star Stock. You can get a PSA 10 base of him for like $325, $350, wow. Something like that. I mean, there's so many of them.
It hasn't found a floor yet.
So, and I bought him. I bought him higher than that.
Did you?
All right. Yeah, I did because I was selling all my Star Stock stuff, pennies, whatever I put in. I'm like, all right, let me grab. Right. I bought a Luka, I bought a Zion. I'm not selling them or anything like that. They're not even for sale. But I figured, that's part of the coloring up, the chips process. I bought a Luka, I bought a Zion. I mean, it is what it is. I mean, again, not looking to sell those things. It was just a way of trading up from, Alec Baum, base cards. So I got a couple fun ones to throw out there, and then I'll let the folks go. If you listen to this on Father's Day, again, happy Father's Day. If you listen to the day after, it's Monday. Hopefully you get back into the swing of things and work and whatnot. We're helping you with that. We'll know who the Final Four is because Philly will have already played against Atlanta. But so 2 ways to go. Number one, a lot of guys out in the West Coast get overlooked. And I'm not telling you to go nuts on this, but there's a kid, I call him a kid, it seems like he's been playing forever, named Matt Olson on Oakland. Oakland plays the ball, play the game. They got the Mats and Matt Chapman, you got Matt Olson, you got these guys. They play great defense, they play good team ball, you name it. They're, just good players. And he's a 2017 Topps Chrome rookie, same as like Judge and those guys. He hit his 20th home run against the Yankees today, Matt Olson. I mean, so he's going to have another one of these really good years. And last I checked, I think they're going up a little bit because people see him going up the home run chart. But in May, I was looking at his PSA 10 Topps Chrome for like $45, $46. I didn't buy any. I don't own this card. I'm going to tell you right off the bat. Like I said, I'm going to tell you if I own these things, and there's no pump and dump baloney here. I think they're closer to $55, $60 now. On an auction, you might be able to get them cheaper. But if you're looking for a baseball guy that's just not the same name as everybody else, it's not Aaron Judge, it's not Vlad Guerrero, it's not Tatis. The guy stays healthy-ish. And he's, is on his pace for over 40 home runs this year out in Oakland. It might be a cool flyer to take. that's just one. It's just, we're talking about the Yankee game. The Yankees won 2-1, and the one run was an Olsen home run. I have a play. It's funny. I always it's Father's Day. Let's not overkill with the dads. I have a play for you guys. I have not bought this yet, and there's not a ton of them out there. And I've had it in my eBay watch list, and I'm gonna bring it to you guys just to have for your card collection. It's. I think this is something that is a cool conversation piece for folks. I'll add one at some point in time. Like I said, I haven't bought it, and I'm not going to race you guys to buy it. I hope it's like a reward to the couple of people who who listen to this and maybe jump on right after it gets done. So here we are. It was Juneteenth yesterday, and it's Father's Day today, and it's like all this diversity, inclusion. Even take care of your dads, right? Dads usually get left out. You name it. So I have a fun play, right? So have you ever seen the movie A League of Their Own? No, you never seen it? You should watch it. League of Their Own is about the All-American Girls Baseball League. During the war, men went over to fight the war, and my grandmother was actually in the Navy as well, so it wasn't just men fighting the war.
Was she really?
Yeah. My grandparents,
cool.
both of them were in the Navy. So baseball kind of died. You saw this Ted Williams lost years while he was in the war and the whole deal. And the movie is about the All-American League, where they had women playing baseball, professional baseball league. And they were ultimately, enshrined in the Hall of Fame and the whole 9 yards. And, Rockford Peaches and Racine Bells and the big teams. There was a fictional character that was the lead, played by Gina Davis, managed by Tom Hanks, called Dottie Henson, right? So the Queen of Diamonds, she played catcher. That's a fictional character, but it is based on an actual person named Dottie Kamenchek. And if you put her name, and I'll spell it for you guys. I'm going to go grab it. This way I don't spell it wrong for everybody here. It's in my eBay watch list, so everybody bear with me. There we go. My watch list. I should just share the screen, but I don't know how to do that because I'm an old man. It's
You want me to pull something up?
Dottie. If you want to, we can show people exactly what it is.
Paige has this issue that he hates asking for help. We're working on it.
That would be cool if you did that. That would be pretty awesome. So you could type Dottie. Dottie.
Mm-hmm.
Just find this here.
Dottie West? Dottie Rambo?
No, man.
Dottie Angel? Dottie Kamenchek?
Yes, it's Kamen, but I want you to look at the exact one, right? So it's type Dottie Kamenchek. It's Kamenshek, and then also in the same search, put Ted Williams.
Got it. Found the card. Autographed? Peaches?
Yep, autographed. Peaches. Exactly. So this is the real person. So you'll find the Ted Williams, the PSA autograph.
This is cool, guys. You guys are on YouTube about to find out Paige's childhood crush. She is a catch.
Don't say
she
that.
Is a catch.
That's not so. But the point is here, we talk about the history of baseball, and there you go. What was it? $150, something like that. She was inducted into the Baseball Hall of Fame in 1988. Right. This was the main character of the movie was based on her. There are plenty of autographs of hers just like this. It's a Ted Williams card, All-American League. She signed it herself. It's authentic. It's, like I said, PSA, Dottie Kamenchek. And it's a cool thing, right, where we talk about, like, inclusion, diversity, you name it. And I started this episode off, it's Father's Day. It's great to have a father-son hobby and open up cards and, with my son and try to get my daughter into it as well. It's a forgotten piece of baseball history, right? And you're able to add that to your PC for $100, $150, $89. I saw one of them for, if you want a graded one, in a PSA slab. And it is a cool piece of Americana, and it's a cool, talking point, and a nice thing. Oh, look at this. I not only have a Jackie Robinson, I got a Dottie Kamenchek. And she's just basically thought of as, the woman who was like the lead player for the league. I think Time did a piece on her, and kept the league kind of going. And it lasted for a little while, even after MLB came back. And like I said, it's a cool thing. If you haven't seen A League of Their Own, it's a cool movie. A lot of good stars in it. And Tom Hanks was in it. So, but there's just a fun play. Matt Olson was a play. I got a third one, for bonus. I mean, I bought my Michael Jordan card last night, and I started thinking to myself, 90s inserts. People love 90s inserts. It's like a safer play, right? And I started thinking to myself, my own strategy, where I might go. And I started thinking about like Jeter inserts and or Griffey inserts from the 90s as well. Not going to they're not going to go 10x, but they're pretty steady. And, you'd imagine that if you want to have another one of those kind of cards that, is cool to have in your PC, have in your collection, and just, probably steady growth over time and pricing. That's another little area I was thinking about as well. So lots of fun stuff.
Fine. I'm going to go fun stuff. I got another play for you guys too then.
I want fun stuff. Go.
Giannis autos, rookie autos, but using his long name. So like what you guys might know. Gold Standard's expensive, but you could go like rookie roll call, Spectra, Panini Select, I think was another one. There's an NBA Hoops. All those rookie autos were full length. You guys will see. It's like he writes the it looks like a T, but it's a G.
Yeah, it's a T.
And then
no one's going to convince me that's a G. That's a T.
Yeah, it's a T, right?
It's a T.
He actually, Thanos actually signed for Giannis. But what you guys need to know is
actually Luka's mom signed for Giannis. I'm kidding.
He's hijacking my play. But later on in his career, he just signs TA. But in his rookie cards, a few of them, there's not a lot. He didn't sign a ton. It's his full-length signature. And you could get some of those in like a BGS 9, BGS 8.5 for less than his Prism-based PSA 10. And I think those cards are going to be really, really sought after, and you should take a look at them.
Love it. That's a cool play. I don't own one. I don't have much in the way of
You're not an auto. You're not an auto.
Yeah, but I might swing more towards the autos. I have one. We have a Giannis Prism PSA 9 base rookie in, and I bought it in a store, and we graded it ourselves. Came back a 9.
Cage is only going to have a Dottie Kamenchek auto because he's crushing.
I am. Listen, did some important stuff with her life. I definitely have a crush on her. Guys, thank you. Happy Father's Day to all the dads out there. Happy Father's Day to all the moms out there that had to put up with the dads on Father's Day as well, because we could be a little bit of a pain in the butt. Give me my steak, give me my cigar. I had a little Johnny Blue before, so I'm having fun. I'm flying high in the episode here today. But, guys, another thing. I take screenshots and I send them to Andrew. I love the messages. Keep them coming, guys. For sure. It really is. It's like Andrew say, it's our oxygen. That was his fun line at the beginning. It really is. I actually messaged him today. I said, thank you. He's like, what the hell are you thanking me for? Because those messages, they're really awesome, right? The stuff that we get, it really is amazing. Keep that stuff coming. Tell me a story. Listen, if it's Father's Day and you're sitting there, you lost your dad last month, and you want to rip some wax with me online, let's go. Let's get on a Zoom. I offered this today. Let's get on a Zoom. Let's get on a FaceTime, and let's open some wax together. I got some Series 2 tops in my basement. I'll grab a box, and we can open them together. Obviously, I can't do that with everybody, but send us some messages. Let's chat. What else, man?
I love it. No, that's a great way to wrap. LukaNation. Sixers.
Oh, nice. You think it's in Sixers? All right, we'll see.
I hate the way we play. I really do. To me, I hate when we gave away Jimmy Butler. I'm a culture guy first. Like, you have to win with culture and then talent. And to me, it's a disaster that like Ben Simmons doesn't shoot. He doesn't even know what hand he is. He's like a
Jimmy Butler fan.
He's not a great player, but he's a great culture guy. Okay? And I think we lack culture. I think we lack leadership on this team.
All right. We shall see. Game 7 tonight. Gotta love it. Thanks, LukaNation.